53 out tonight. And he tacks on 3 more, so they get the takeaway on the interception. They cash in for 3. 7:31 to play in regulation. 23-10 Cincinnati.
أجمل اللحظات الرياضية خلال نوفمبر على أوربت. الدوري السعودي له جاذبية قوية بين جميع عشاق كرة القدم. دوري كرة القدم الأمريكية يزداد منافسة مباراة بعد أخرى. حماس الدوري الهولندي لا يعرف الراحة. أفضل 8 لاعبي تنس يلتقون في الدور النهائي لبطولة الماسترز في هيوستن. الدوري الفرنسي يتجلى في أروع صوره. منتخبات أمريكا الجنوبية تتابع سعيها وراء حجز بطاقتها إلى كأس العالم 2006. نوفمبر على أوربت، عالم من الرياضة.
هل تعاني من بطء الإنترنت؟ إذن فاستعد لسرعة جديدة تتجاوز حدود ما تخيلته ممكنا. أوربت ساتنت، إنترنت ثنائي الاتجاه عبر القمر الصناعي، توفر لك إنترنت مباشر وغير محدود، أسرع ب10 20 30 إلى 50 مرة من الإنترنت العادي حسب رغبتك. لا حاجة لخط أو لدفع فاتورة الهاتف، وبأسعار منافسة، لاستخدام غير محدود 24 ساعة في اليوم 7 أيام في الأسبوع، مع دعم تقني على مدار الساعة. أوربت ساتنت، سرعة لا تصدق.
للمزيد من المعلومات اتصلوا بوكيل أوربت المحلي أو زوروا موقع الإنترنت www.orbitsatnet.com.
To the Apple next week, to the Meadowlands. 8 miles from downtown Manhattan, the New York Jets hosting the Miami Dolphins on Monday Night Football. That's the game next week, and the week after that, Dante Culpepper and Minnesota go to Indianapolis against Peyton Manning and the Colts.
That's a cha-ching game, isn't it? Where you just start right now adding up the points.
Rando's moved back to receive the kick. Graham's kickoff to the 9-yard line. Moved back out to the 25-yard line. So down by 13. Denver tries to get something rolling after they've turned the ball over 3 times tonight, and that's led to 3 Cincinnati field goals. And the Bengals up 23-10. What a pick by James.
أجمل اللحظات الرياضية خلال نوفمبر على أوربت. الدوري السعودي له جاذبية قوية بين جميع عشاق كرة القدم. دوري كرة القدم الأمريكية يزداد منافسة مباراة بعد أخرى. حماس الدوري الهولندي لا يعرف الراحة. أفضل 8 لاعبي تنس يلتقون في الدور النهائي لبطولة الماسترز في هيوستن. الدوري الفرنسي يتجلى في أروع صوره. منتخبات أمريكا الجنوبية تتابع سعيها وراء حجز بطاقتها إلى كأس العالم 2006. نوفمبر على أوربت، عالم من الرياضة.
مباشرة من نيويورك.
This morning, showdown.
The next chapter in reality TV. What is after reality? More reality.
It involves suicide. It involves poison.
More trouble may be on the way. We have a rare interview.
Lots of political news this morning.
A new era, though, of space travel may be near.
اطلعوا على آخر الأخبار والتطورات. Good Morning America من الاثنين إلى الجمعة في 2 والأحد في 3 بعد الظهر بتوقيت الرياض على أمريكا بلس.
Chad Johnson, big night, 7 catches, 149. Ruben Drones with 110 yards on the ground for Denver. And defensively, a pick there by Delta O'Neal. James, another pick. The Bengals with 3 takeaways and a 13-point lead. And the Broncos begin this drive from their own 25-yard line.
And And those 3 takeaways have turned into 9 points for the Bengals.
Jake Plummer and the Broncos down by 2 touchdowns. And keep in mind, as we head down the stretch here, they've already used 2 of their timeouts. Plummer throws outside. Ball is caught by Darius Watts. Flag.
Well, they're going to call roughing the passer, too, on Dwayne Clemens.
Again.
Personal foul, roughing the passer. 92 defense, push of the quarterback. It's a 15-yard penalty.
Second on him tonight.
And he's complaining about that one. I think he's trying to say he makes a good move there. He comes out of a spin. I think he's trying to say that George Foster, number 72, pushed him into Jake Plummer.
Close.
I mean, that wasn't one of those things where you really felt that Dwayne Clemens was going after Plummer.
First and 10, 46-yard line. Everybody spread out. Plummer, quick throw over the middle. That ball is caught by Nate Jackson. And Nate Jackson has a first down at the 43-yard line of Cincinnati.
And the Broncos are going up here with no huddle now. Sometimes you need a momentum changer. Sometimes it's a big play. Sometimes it's a 15-yard penalty.
Well, they've already had that, and then now they're going to be penalized themselves as George Foster came up from his stance.
72 offense. 5-yard penalty. No first down.
George Foster and Dwayne Clemens have been in a real battle over there. Clemens has been getting pretty good pressure on Jake Plummer. There's a guy, I talked to him the other night. There's a guy that is really fired up about this game, about being played here on Monday Night Football against the Denver Broncos in this crowd.
Ball at the 48 of Cincinnati. Plummer is under pressure and gets it off. And again, they go to Nate Jackson, their number 5 wideout. The corner Ratliff put the pressure on, forcing Plummer to get it away in a hurry.
Again, no huddle. We talk about the Bengals trying to get plays in chunks. The Broncos only have 1 play over 20 yards.
Second down and 7 from the 40-yard line. And again, they keep going to Jackson, number 14, second-year guy out of Menlo College. Picked him up in a trade with San Francisco. Pressure that time from Kevin Hardy. There's the AFC West at the moment. Denver coming in 5-1. Chargers have already equaled their win total of last year. Chiefs won big yesterday, but 2-4. Oakland 2-5. In the AFC North, you've got Pittsburgh. They had a bye yesterday. Baltimore and Cleveland and Cincinnati trying to go to 2-4.
Jake Plummer had to get rid of that last one quickly because Kevin Hardy was coming free on him on a blitz.
33-yard line on first down. And again, they keep going to Jackson and another flag at the 38-yard line.
And they're pointing at this one's against the Denver Broncos. That's one of the things that, you know, Plummer isn't throwing deep. I mean, he's not getting that chunk. He's not going for it, but he's not getting a lot of time either.
Illegal use of hands. 62 offense. Hands to the face. 10-yard penalty. Still first down.
Dan Neal.
Yeah, Dan Neal's the right guard. On that last play with the hands to the face, the Bengals only rushed 3. They were in a 3-man line.
Please put 5-18 on the scoreboard card. 5-1-8.
So Dan Neal was in a double on the nose tackle.
First and 20 now. Plummer again with 5 receivers. They spread them out. And the pass is incomplete. He's trying to go underneath to Rod Smith. It'll be second down and 20.
And again, that was a 3-man line, but that time, rather than just rushing 3 and playing 8, they come on a blitz. They come from the outside. You see two coming free on this side. So you say, why is Jake Plummer throwing so short? Why is he throwing so quickly? Because they're getting 3 rushes on him, and he has to get rid of the ball.
And normally one of them has been dead free. on a track to Plummer. 2nd down and 20 at the 42-yard line. Now he gets some protection in the backfield from Puccio and throws, and the ball is caught. Somehow Ashley Lally able to make the catch as it was nearly deflected twice. Case Mahar makes the tackle, and the Broncos are able to come close to moving the chains, but it's 3rd down and 7 because the penalty had set them back. 3rd and 7 from the 29-yard line. Plummer under pressure, sacked from behind by Justin Smith. And that puts him back in the position where the line of scrimmage is the 39.
And Justin Smith has just been relentless. You see him, he gets around the corner now. Now again, it's a backside. Jake Plummer, watch him. He's looking to the right. Justin Smith is coming from his backside. He doesn't see him nor feel him, so he can't get rid of the ball quickly on that one.
No question what they have to do here. They have only one timeout. It's still a 2-possession game. They go for it on 4th and 17. And Plummer gets sacked again. And again it's Justin Smith. So they had 1 sack all night, and then Smith back to back.
That's what you get when you get them down and they have to pass, and you get those long yardage situations. You can just take off, and that's exactly what Justin Smith does.
انضموا إلى عشاق سباقات الخيل حول العالم في تكساس لمتابعة أكبر وأعرق أحداث الموسم. أقوى الخيول وأعتد الفرسان في عرضهم الأخير ضمن أهم السباقات ذات أعلى الجوائز على الإطلاق. كأس بريدرز مباشرة من لون ستار بارك السبت في الأوقات التالية على أوربت espn.
أنا مش عايزة أقول لك إن أنت كنت السبب في فشل حياتي الزوجية.
عايز أعيش، عايز أتمتع.
أزمة، صحوة.
خطر دي يعني ولا إيه؟
أنا خايفة أوي.
لو حد سأل عليا قولي له في الجنة.
تعيش يا حبيبي وتاخد غيرها.
نور الشريف.
الحق يا ماما. ده فعلا اتهدى.
في مسلسل عيش أيامك كل يوم في 9:30 صباحا على قناة المسلسلات.
مع اقتراب موعد الانتخابات الأمريكية أخذ السيناتور كيري يضيق الهوة بينه وبين الرئيس بوش. السباق متقارب جدا، وما من قناة في المنطقة ستغطي الانتخابات الأمريكية مثل أوربت نيوز. تقارير مباشرة، نشرات متلاحقة، تعليقات وآراء من أبرز المراسلين السياسيين والصحفيين المرموقين. اطلعوا على الصورة الكاملة لهذه اللحظة التاريخية بمصداقية ووضوح مع أوربت نيوز.
Recap all the top stories from around the world of sports. All the scores and highlights as well right here on the worldwide leader in sports. For many of you, your next edition will be immediately following Monday Night Football. Let's get back to fourth quarter action with the Broncos and the Bengals.
They're loving every minute of this. As Rudy Johnson takes it to the 50-yard line, Denver can only stop the clock with their 1 remaining timeout.
Inside 4 minutes to play and a major upset brewing. The Bengals in front of their home crowd of 65,000 haven't hosted a Monday Night Football game since back in 1989. They've got the 23-10 advantage over the 5-1 Broncos.
And Chad Johnson just beat him.
7 catches, 2 50-yard catches tonight. That's Denver's final timeout.
Yeah, and that's big. You know, and you can stretch the defense like that. And then how about this guy here, Delta O'Neal?
And another former Bronco, Torrey James, with that interception. They've done the job. Leslie Frazier, the defensive coordinator, and all of a sudden that defense last week gave up a 99-yard touchdown pass to Jeff Garcia and the Browns. Gave up 30-plus points, and they come back tonight and shut down this Denver offense with great effectiveness.
Right, and at some point you have to give defensive corners credit for points when their turnovers turn into points.
And Johnson breaks free. Kennedy finally pushes him out of bounds.
If we don't watch out, we're going to have to put Rudy Johnson on there too.
He's making a bid because he now has 120 yards on the ground.
I think that's a pretty good bid. This offensive line, Marvin Lewis was saying that they haven't been consistent this year, that they were very good last year. I'll tell you something, tonight they have been consistent. Watch them how they not only get on their blocks, drive their feet, but they stay on their blocks.
The season high 123 against the Steelers in a losing cause. 120 tonight. And still a buck 20 to the 29 to the line of scrimmage. Check in with Michelle.
You were talking about the offensive line, Al. Willie Anderson, the longest tenured member of this Bengals team currently, and he's also one of the most active in the community. He told me the fans here had gotten so tired of losing, they stopped noticing the community service these guys were performing. He said they couldn't care less if we were out there feeding the homeless. But once they started having success last year, everyone started noticing, and he said, hey, I've been doing this for 8 years. But that's what he said, Al. Losing can have a real toll on the community.
You know, we talked about it before, Michelle. 132 games for him. This is his first game on Monday Night Football. Here's Watson. He also, of course, has not played in the playoff game. You know what's amazing, John? We talked about the Bengals haven't had a winning season in 13 years. The last time the Bengals were in a playoff game was at the end of the '90 season. It will be forever remembered as the game in which Bo Jackson got tackled and never played again. It ended his career because of the hip injury.
Right, the hip injury on the sideline. You know why Willie Anderson is such a good player?
As you look at Anthony Munoz.
There was one of the all-time greats. I'm not just talking about a great tackle, but an all-time great, Anthony Munoz.
Watson, he's going to pick up the first down, and that's going to take us to the 2-minute warning, and they can run out the clock and celebrate in downtown and beyond.
What I was saying about Willie Anderson, he has a great foundation. You know what size shoe he wears? 19 triple E.
That's like Bob Lanier.
That is. That's why he has so many great feet, as Bob Lanier used to say. But I'll tell you, they did a job tonight. Now, that's a size 19.
Triple E?
Yeah. Triple E. Now, that's a foot.
And a half. 2-minute warning. What a night in Cincinnati.
Each week, ESPN has your ticket for the best in sports. Mondays, fulfill your need for speed as we bring you the best in two-wheel, open-wheel, and off-road racing. Thursdays are action sports days with the wildest moments of X Games and beyond. And remember, ESPN is always your home for the great outdoors with hunting, lumberjacking, and some of the biggest fish you've ever seen. The best in sports each week, only on ESPN.
The Fall Classic is here, and the road to success has been paved with disappointments and triumph. Now one last challenge stands in the way. Can anyone stop the Cardinals' offense? Is this the Red Sox team of destiny? Red Sox Cardinals, Game 3, tonight live on ESPN.
John, I have a feeling it'll be a lot sooner than that.
I think so, too. I mean, I think, you know, we talked about it earlier how Marvin Lewis came in here and changed this program around. They were 8-8 last year and got off to a little slow start. But watching Carson Palmer tonight, I think that's a big thing. I think he's a real deal. Or going to be. I mean, he's not yet, but I think they're on the right track with Carson Palmer.
Well, you know, you talked about it earlier, John, maybe a coming of age for him. And we said it at the beginning because we talked to Marvin Lewis last night. And we asked him, you know, would you make an in-game change? And he said, if I need a spark, yes. Which meant John Kitna, who had such a great year last year, and who Carson Palmer just adores. I mean, Kitna's been fantastic in mentoring Palmer, but Kitna would have come into the game had they gotten off to a terrible start tonight.
And Marvin Lewis says we've been too close to lose games, and we can't do that anymore. And Carson Palmer stood up big tonight.
Well, they won't have to worry about that because they'll head to Tennessee, where the Titans have their own problems, and we don't know about Steve McNair, who bruised the sternum again, and we don't know whether he'll play next week, but that's where Cincinnati will go. Denver, meanwhile, will go back home. And again, you talk about trap games and all of that, and they're going to take on an Atlanta team that was annihilated in Kansas City yesterday. Mike Shanahan, who came in, and his team had to expect they'd be 6-1 flying home tonight. Instead, it will be 5-2. The Chargers are very happy about the outcome of this. They'll be just a game back. Cincinnati, as they did last year, started 1-4, got hot, had a chance to make the playoffs, but lost a home game at the end. But for Marvin Lewis, a guy who had been rumored to be a head coach for so long, had interviewed with a number of teams, had almost gotten the Tampa job before Gruden became available, winds up here, and what a night.
And he has a very strong program, and I think a big part of it is players really believe in him, and that's when you need it, when you're 1-4. And when you're 4-1 or you're 5-0 or 6-0, everyone believes in everyone. When you're 1-4, they start to doubt. He didn't let these guys doubt.
And he's going to wind up with a 23-10 victory tonight in a game in which they never trailed. Led 13-7 at the half, led 20-10 at the end of 3, and won it 23-10 in a pretty stunning upset.
Yeah, that's one of those, who you thought, and who would ever think that this was going to happen, but that's the nature of the game. I mean, these guys are all pro players, and when pros get together, anything can happen.
More proof. Nobody knows anything. 23-10.
Well, a big upset on Monday Night Football tonight from Cincinnati, where the Bengals break a 3-game losing streak and upset what was a 5-1 Bronco team. We'll be back with more after the Bengals' 23-10 victory.
رمضان على قناة الصفوة. برامج دينية وثقافية متنوعة وأثرية. رحلات ممتعة عبر التاريخ والجغرافيا ضمن برامج وثائقية عربية وعالمية. أجمل المسلسلات التاريخية. رمضان على قناة الصفوة دائما أحلى. رمضان على قناة فن. سهرات مع أجمل الألحان والأغاني العربية. برامج متنوعة وممتعة. رقص، فرجة، سينما، مسرح وفنون تشكيلية. رمضان على قناة فن دائما أحلى.
Dr. Phil. Dr. Phil.
Dr. Phil.
Can you help me?
So many people are sharing their problems with him.
To share or not to share? That is the question.
His success is breaking the world's rating records.
Do you know how many million people watch this show?
Yes. Can you help us be happy again?
Man, it's tough.
He's been there for you.
Think about it. You're not a bad mother.
So be there for Dr. Phil every day at these times, exclusively on the Hollywood Channel.
We'll see you soon. So long.
Tuesdays and Wednesdays.
No good. No good. No good. Oh, God.
Can I get some ketchup, please?
You are so good with women.
Got problems?
No, look at me.
Let them give you a hand.
I can never tell if you're joking or you're just stupid.
Well, I try to mix it up, sir.
The Norm Show. Tuesdays and Wednesdays at 8 p.m. Riyadh time on Super Comedy. Dr. Andrew Brown had everything he could wish for.
I came to you because you're supposed to be the best. I'm willing to go after this cancer with everything I've got.
But when tragedy crossed his path, he had no choice but to face the truth.
Everyone who wants to move and get their own horse, raise your hand.
Come with us to the only place for second chances. ever would. Sundays at 10 p.m. Riyadh time only on America Plus.
You've arrived at Cinema City. The greatest movies of all time. Wow. Big stars.
You are amazing.
Great directors and modern classics.
Time we tried something new.
Cinema City is back, and it's new with fresh movies every day. At 8 p.m. on Channel 39, come home to Cinema City. Just great movies.
رمضان على قناة الصفوة. برامج دينية وثقافية متنوعة وأثرية. رحلات ممتعة عبر التاريخ والجغرافيا ضمن برامج وثائقية عربية وعالمية. أجمل المسلسلات التاريخية. رمضان على قناة الصفوة دائما أحلى.
Entering this Monday night game, Denver's John Elway never lost to the Kansas City Chiefs in Mile High Stadium, while neither Joe Montana nor Marty Schottenheimer had ever beaten the Broncos in Denver.
Exactly what we got to do. Let's finish now. We got our hand on that damn rung for number 4. Let's finish that son of a job.
This intensity quickly escalated as a duel between two of the NFL's greatest quarterbacks generated spectacular results.
5-step drop, looking for the end zone. J.J. Bird, touchdown!
Montana and Elway combined for over 650 yards passing and 5 touchdowns. And as the game wound into the fourth quarter, it looked as though the team that owned the ball last would win the game.
Touchdown! He does it again!
With 4:08 remaining, the Chiefs had the lead, but the Broncos had the ball. But on the ensuing drive, disaster struck Denver.
Looks downfield, fires a curl route to Shannon Sharp, makes the catch. Immediately hit, fumbles the football. Are they going to rule him down? No, the Chiefs get the football! Kansas City picks up the turnover with 2:45 left in the ball game.
Now, all the Chiefs needed was to run out the clock. But for Denver, old habits like beating Kansas City die hard.
Lead play, Marcus Allen trying to hang on to the football and goes down to a loss of 2 at the 39. And now they're going to say the ball's loose and Denver's got the ball. Marcus Allen fumbles the football. Recovered by Carl Mecklenburg.
Incredibly, back-to-back fumbles kept Denver alive. But 5 plays later, the Broncos lined up a man short on 3rd and goal.
We need another receiver, John! John, we need another receiver!
Shannon Sharp atoned for his earlier fumble with some quick thinking that turned a potentially demoralizing play into the go-ahead touchdown.
They got 10 men on the field. Elway's going to run it up the middle. Flag is down. Elway scores.
If you have 7 on the line of scrimmage, the play should stand. And I thought Shannon moved up in the line of scrimmage.
Right. Touchdown. I'm on the line. I'm on the line. I'm playing with 10. I'm on the line.
This extraordinary chain of events gave the Broncos the lead and left only a minute 22 seconds for the Chiefs' Joe Montana, a man who always seemed most comfortable with his back pinned to the wall.
Back to throw is Montana. Screen pass right, Marcus Allen. He's at the 25, Marcus at the 30.
Using just 43 seconds, the Chiefs ran off 5 plays that swept them to the Denver 47-yard line. Mile High Thunder could not distract Montana from his mission.
36 seconds left in the game. Deep drop in the pocket. Sets up, looks left, fires left. Anders puts on a juke move. 40-yard line. Out of bounds at the 36-yard line. 1 timeout left for the Chiefs. 20 seconds left in the game. 28-24 Denver. 5-step drop. Fires a slant. Caught by Green. He's inside the down at the 5-yard line. The Chiefs call timeout with 13 seconds left in the game.
The Broncos watched as their own heroics were eclipsed by the game's brightest star. Two legendary quarterbacks had waged the most dramatic duel of the year, and Joe Montana would fire the final shot.
10 of 11 for the last passes for Montana. He now has 402-yard passing. But he needs 6 more.
Montana takes the snap, back to throw, looking right, firing a pass that, a leaping grab, Willie Davis, touchdown Kansas City, Willie Davis made the catch, curled inside the right pylon, touchdown Montana Magic, Kansas City takes the lead with 8 seconds left. This game's over, and you listen to me closely. Bury the bones, clean the skeletons out of the closet. Marty's got his first one at Mile High. Joe's got his first one at Mile High, and for the first time since 1982, the Chiefs win in Denver 31-28. There ain't no more streaks in Denver.
رمضان على قناة الصفوة. برامج دينية وثقافية متنوعة وأثرية. رحلات ممتعة عبر التاريخ والجغرافيا ضمن برامج وثائقية عربية وعالمية. أجمل المسلسلات التاريخية. رمضان على قناة الصفوة دائما أحلى. رمضان على قناة فن. سهرات مع أجمل الألحان والأغاني العربية. برامج متنوعة وممتعة. رقص، فرجة، سينما، مسرح وفنون تشكيلية. رمضان على قناة فن دائما أحلى.
Dr. Phil, Dr. Phil.
Dr. Phil.
Can you help me?
So many people are sharing their problems with him.
To share or not to share? That is the question.
His success is breaking the world's rating records.
Do you know how many million people watch this show?
Yes. Can you help us be happy again?
Man, it's tough.
He's been there for you.
Think about it. You're not a bad mother.
So be there for Dr. Phil every day at these times exclusively on the Hollywood Channel.
We'll see you soon. So long.
Tuesday.
Low 10th place finish at Homestead 2 weeks ago. Wayne Taylor is now just 8 points back after scoring another podium. And what about this guy? Andy Wallace drove the Sitco Crawford to victory in Homestead and is now just 11 points back. It's even tighter in the GT ranks. Mechanical Woes ate away Bill Orbelin's point lead as his teammate Boris said won the race. Orbelin's advantage now, just 1 point. And in SGS, Andy Lally and Mark Bunting finished outside the top 3 for the first time this season. Mike Levitas won and is within striking distance, just 16 points back. 3 races, 3 chasers. Who will take home the title? October is crunch time for the Rolex Sports Car Series. It's the final month of racing in 04, and the championship will be decided in the next 3 events. And if last year's race here at VIR was anything to go by, today's SunTrust 400 should be a thriller. Let's talk points, let's talk Daytona prototypes. 9 rounds down, 3 to go, only 8 points separate the top 2. Pappas and Pruitt, of course, drive in the same car. The arch rival is Wayne Taylor for SunTrust Racing, but don't discount the Sitco Crawford pilot Andy Wallace after his second win recently. He's only 11 back. three classes in the Rolex Sports Car Series. Let's talk about our second class, GT. Couldn't be much closer than this, could it? The former co-drivers, the still teammates, Bill Auble and Boris said, only 1 point separating them. And very, very consistent effort by the Racers Group trio of Gleason, James and Valentine. You get 35 points for a win. They're only 21 back, so they're still in it. SGS, the Super Grand Sport class, Andy Lally, Mark Bunting still holding the higher ground over their team owner, Mike Levitas, and he is still in with a shout. John Littlechild, after that victory earlier this season, he's in good shape as well.
VIR has a corner for everyone. Turn 1 through 6, very tight. Good handling cards required here. 7 through 11, high-speed S's. You need a lot of downforce. Long back straightaway, you're talking horsepower. Roller coaster down 14 and 15 into the hog pen. Don't get it wrong. Don't get in the slop, because start-finish is up ahead.
Here they roll up towards the high point. You'll see the entire field, and it's a very healthy 40-car field here at VIR at the top of your screen. But the three respective pole sitters, new track record for Mad Max Pappas. 9th time in 10 races. The 0-1 starts from the pole. Newcomer Tom Milner grabs the GT pole, and Mike Levitas, Randy Popes for the 3rd time this season will start on the SGS pole. Very important round with the countdown on. Only 3 to go. Legendary broadcaster and journalist Chris Economaki is the Grand Marshal and will tell these guys to fire it up. Max Pappas, Wayne Taylor, side by side, and look at them, they're leaning on each other right before the green. Here we go at VIR.
A little intimidation factor right there as Max jumps. Here comes Oswaldo Negri in the 6th, great move.
And Darren Law. Law comes back from 5th, squashes up the inside. Taylor's being pushed wide. Wow, some big movement. You're right on board with Christian Fittipaldi. But look at that. Oswaldo Negri Jr. forceful from the start and puts the Shank car right into 2nd place.
And I think Wayne Taylor went into conservation mode right away. He didn't want any part of that bumping at the beginning.
Fittipaldi is now right on that black and yellow SunTrust Riley. Darren Law, after putting the 58 in a surprise 5th place, he feels confident here today at VIR. Remember, he used to drive for G&W Motorsports. This is their home track.
Yeah, Max really trying to stretch your lead right now. Sentimental favorite at 6, so Oswaldo Negri really made a change to this car after they qualified it. He wasn't sure if it was right or not, but he didn't have anything better than the 3rd place car without the change. They gambled.
Court Wagner is zeroing in on the back of Christian Fittipaldi. Here's Elliot Forbes Robinson and Jimmy Morales in the 0-2. On board with Jimmy.
This is the Oak Tree corner, slowest corner on the track. Now the long straightaway, we'll see who's got muscle.
Max Pappas leads the way from Oswaldo Negri. The 5 there, Scott Maxwell teamed with David Brabham. First time David Brabham has driven the car since they won the Rolex 24 at Daytona last year. The first ever Daytona prototype victory. Look at this, Elliot Forbes Robinson putting pressure on Maxwell. And Morales closing in also. Cal.
Well, that number 5 machine you're looking at, Lee, is the winner at the Daytona 24-hour class last year in 03. And since that time, boy, has it been on a diet. It's now 280 pounds lighter. And in fact, it's about 80 pounds lighter than the Essex racing machine that we've seen in action this year. What is 80 pounds worth? About 1.3 seconds in testing. That's put this team much closer to the pace this weekend.
Whoa, Elliot Forbes Robinson and Scott Maxwell.
And they bumped right before that just a little bit. Elliot trying to get by Scott, not giving him any room. The old timer says, no, you're not going to push me around.
Back on board with Morales. We've seen Jimmy get a little emotional, a little impatient at the beginning of these races. Is he being a little more steady now? No, I don't think so. Looking for an option on Maxwell. Couldn't get it.
He wants a piece of Maxwell right here, I'll tell you that. Trying to find a way by. This is where it's really frighteningly quick up through here. This is the climbing S's, and it's almost flat out on new tires. In fact, I think you could do it flat out for a lap or 2.
Back up front. Wayne Taylor, Darren Law, Christian Fittipaldi, the RX.com Doran, is Court Wagner. And you can just see how fast that is, the climbing S's. This is a brutal circuit. It's a brilliant circuit. The drivers love it. Brian Till.
Dorsey, you talked about the change on the 6 car. Specifically what they did was they softened the front springs. They were looking for grip in the front end of the car, and I asked Oswaldo Negri about that. How big a risk was it to make that change? He said, if we gain, we will gain in leaps and bounds. If we lose, we won't lose that much. So it was a risk worth taking. And right now it seems to be a risk that they should have taken because it seems to be working out pretty good for those guys.
That's a good point. Michael Shank, the owner, he said, right now we have a third-place car because the lap they turned in qualifying they felt was as good as they were going to get. And it wasn't good enough to be at the pole, so they didn't feel that they had anything to lose. Let's go for a win. I think that's a really good call.
On board with Wayne Taylor. There is a championship on the line. And you better believe there is a pressure cooker situation here. And his teammate, Max Angelelli, is feeling that. He knows he has to deliver for this guy. Angelelli missed around. He missed Mid-Ohio. That put Wayne Taylor on a different point stagger. The championship is still there to win for Wayne Taylor, and he needs the Italian to deliver for him today.
And Wayne and I talked, and he knew also, as I said at the opening of the show, that you could lose the championship here. At the start of the race, he wanted nothing to do with all that banging and clanging. What he would like to do right now is exactly what he's doing. Slot in, get comfortable, and start picking away at this lead.
These DP front runners coming past the 42 Planet Earth Motorsports Porsche. 3 cars, in fact, have to start from pit lane. The Piccio for G&W, the Chase, and also the Nonamaker Porsche.
ESPN presents the best of Friday night fights. In December of 2000, Ray Oliveira had an opportunity to conquer the vacant NABF welterweight title, but that would only happen by defeating Vincent Cool Phillips. Friday on ESPN.
Tonight on ESPN, catch up on all the important headlines during SportsCenter. Later, the Major League Baseball playoffs continue with live action from Game 1 of the World Series, only on ESPN tonight.
The NFL on ESPN roars into Week 7. The Denver Broncos sit all alone atop the AFC West, and this week they stampede into Cincinnati to tackle the tough, growling Bengals. Broncos, Bengals, live Monday on ESPN.
This week on ESPN, Sao Paulo takes on Santos live on Sunday from the Brazilian Championship. Then later, the Cardinals battle the Red Sox in Game 2 of the World Series. On Monday, the Broncos beat the Bengals in NFL Monday Night Football. And Tuesday, tune in for an anthology of the 2004 Jump Rope Championships. Great sports every day on ESPN this week.
The beautiful game lives on ESPN with the Brazilian Championship. When the beauty of football is in your blood, Glory shows you the way. Dancing feet on the field, the unique style of Brazilian football. Quick, short passes, so fast if you blink, you lose. The beautiful game lives on when Sao Paulo battles Santos. War, where pride is the only casualty and the winner takes it all. Be there to see it happen. Live Brazilian football, Sunday, only on ESPN.
This is the SunTrust 400 here at Virginia International Raceway. And you ride with race leader Max Pappas on board the Lexus Riley for Ganassi Racing, the CompUSA team. 3.7 seconds in the lead. This car has led at every single event. In fact, it's the only car, the only Daytona prototype that has led every single race meeting. It's been a mighty effort. Their first year in DP Racing, and the top shelf, high quality organization that is Chip Ganassi Racing has really raised the level in the Rolex Sports Car Series. Max is doing it well. He leads Wayne Taylor for SunTrust Racing, just shy of 4 seconds. Then it's Oswaldo Negri. We ride with Wayne Taylor. Let's enjoy this for a moment.
flag came down. That was really off plan for this team. The strategy for Wayne was just to get out there and do some good laps. If any pushing around needed to be done, that was for Angelelli in the second half of this race. So they told Wayne to just settle it down, get out there, do your laps. This team has been very consistent all weekend long. They should be good over the long haul, and as we can see, he's keeping up with Max. He's going to keep it close.
I actually think it was Max that probably was the intimidator at the beginning of that thing, doing the, hey, I'm willing to rub you off if you want to play that game. And it was obvious Wayne Taylor had nothing to do with that. He wanted nothing at all with it.
Look at that gap. Nice margin back for Wayne Taylor. He's got plenty of distance over Oswaldo Negri. Let's talk more about that start, and if it was intimidating for either of the drivers, we've got a replay of that, and it was as they were approaching the green flag. Dorsey, talk us through.
You see right now, see how they're starting to move next to each other? It's just intimidation, starting to mess with each other's mind a little bit.
And they're not, it's not huge contact, but it's enough just to get the other guy riled, isn't it?
Well, it will rile you because you're already riled. I mean, you're about to start this race out and you're winning for a championship or running for one. You can't have a crash. And here's someone next to you saying, okay, you want to mix it up, let's go. So it's an intimidation factor, no question. For me, I would run right into it.
I don't imagine that ever happened to you. You would have been the instigator.
Yeah, I mean, those guys have tried that before. I know one in particular.
On board the 58 Red Bull Brumos, Darren Law. Boy, is he having the year of his career. He's been a champion before. In fact, he won the GT class in Rolex Sports Car Series back in '01. But he is at the top level now of his game, and he is driving brilliantly. You see up ahead, Elliot Forbes Robinson is flying. The 4 is the car on the move.
Take a look here with Darren Law at what just happened. He's going, listen to that Porsche motor too, at almost 9,000 revs. This thing's the highest revving motor out there.
Let's have a look at a recent incident with Darren Law on board the 58 machine.
Look up ahead here.
Wow, that was EFR.
EFR, oh, 3 wide, and EFR tried in the grass.
Steve Leeser in the 06 Corvette, one of it looked like one of the TPC Porsches.
And that's exactly what happens. That's how you can lose a championship, when somebody's not watching your mirrors and giving you any room. Brian?
You talk about Darren Law in the 58 car, tremendous qualifying effort for them, very pleased with where they started this race, but the car is still not where they want it to be. They said it's having a hard time with the transitions up through those high-speed S's, still not as comfortable as they would like it to be. I did speak to Bob Snodgrass. They're going to go through a massive development on that chassis over the winter. He won't tell me exactly where this work's going to be done, but he had a big smile on his face. He said it will be good come Daytona.
J.C. France has been off, and we've got the 27 smoking with a spin. That must be oil-related.
Didier Taze.
Didier just has a spin. J.C. France has been off into something and has damaged the back of the Porsche. The 59 I'm talking about, but this, Didier Taze, we saw smoke on the entry to the corner, then a quick spin.
This car won just a couple of races ago at Watkins Glen. And problems for the Doran Lister.
This is the tight part of the race car. Right there is J.C. France, the back end damage, probably going to have to pit. Let's see what happens here.
J.C. France coming up on Vic Rice.
In the number 7 BMW, correct. Trying to walk to the outside, and I don't think that Vic knew he was there to do a little bump. Now here, I don't know where this rear body got damaged at. I think we're about to find that out.
Talk about a long and frustrating weekend for the Brumos team, the 59.
Now here's the problem. There's the smoke we saw. That's got to be leaving oil, I have to assume. As quickly as that car spun, let's look at it. There's the oil entering the corner, or smoke from the back, and watch how quickly this snaps into a spin.
That just on his own oil.
Yeah, I think that right rear tire is covered in oil, and took a look. Take a look here. It just goes so quick when it hits.
39 right behind him, Chris Hall in the spark of Georgia Tech. Let's get it down to the pits.
Lee, Elliot Ford Robson brings the number 4 car in. This is the fuel strategy that they're going to run. They're running a different strategy than the 2 car, but they do have a slight problem. A lot of grass in the front end of this car on the right front tire, up in the braking system, and that grass is now on fire. Elliot Ford Robson is now gone.
The 2 has spun Milka Duno in the Sitco Crawford, and she was having a tremendous run. She started 13th, she got as high as 10th. Now this is costly. She can't get that car fired.
Oh, now you see the 4 go right around her, so she's got to be right past pit in. You will think she'll probably have to come in this lap, put Andy Wallace in. That would be my guess.
Costly stuff just when everything was going so well. Just to finish your point, I said it's been a long and frustrating weekend for the Broomos 59 team. Hurley Haywood crashed that car earlier in the weekend. A lot of damage. The team had to repair it.